Hello and welcome to the Daily Grind here on Latte Firm. It is Thursday, the 27th of November, and Arsenal are on fire. Art, look at us. Look at us. Top of
I'm
both
sorry.
leagues, plural.
My teacup or mug, whatever you want to call it, isn't very fitting. It's a grumpy Mr.
Oh
Men.
no, well, that needs an upgrade. Anybody watching
But
wants to send Art a Christmas gift, you
no,
know what to do.
I've
Go on.
I've got a rotation actually. So I've got that one. I've got Mr. Men as well, Mr. Perfect. And I've also got I don't know if you've seen over the years poorly drawn Arsenal.
I have.
I got one of his, which was Saka and Smith Rowe. But I
Oh,
think,
bringing all the old good
yeah.
vibes.
So that's usually my go-to. But yeah, I'm on Mr. Grumpy at the minute.
Well, listen, we've got plenty of content to cheer you up. Ladies and gents, welcome to the show. Delighted to have our Arsenal writer at the Athletic joining us tonight. I mean, Art, what an incredible week. North London derby, demolition derby delight for Arsenal after beating Spurs by 4-1. Eberechi Eze, of course, the hat-trick hero. And then last night, started off tense and tricky, tight sort of first half, game of chess, two very, very good teams respecting one another. We make a few tweaks at halftime and we come out and we absolutely blow Bayern Munich away with a mesmerizing performance, a really, really good performance. And now that leaves us top of both leagues, Premier League and the Champions League stage. And then we of course go to Stamford Bridge on Sunday. So lots of things to ask you about. But first of all, as someone who covers the club, I mean, the vibes as a supporter are insane, but as a supporter having to write about the club, and you've been through thick and thin. You've written about Arsenal during the darker days, during the not so fun times. I mean, this must be just a joy for you at the moment, right?
Yeah, I think it's weird to kind of maybe understand it all and maybe explain it because it is still work at the end of the day for me. So I think, like with anyone else in any other kind of line of work, you have the kind of other stresses of I guess when something comes out or when you do something or trying to figure out what fits at the right time and different things like that. But in the main, obviously, very thankful to be able to write about what is going on at such a special time. I mean, I was at the North London derby, not the Bayern game, but to be there for Eze's hat trick after, well, you know how excited I was for the sign in the summer. To be there for that and to be able to kind of give my thoughts on it was something else. So yeah, so it's been a good week.
Oh, I don't know what's happened there. Hopefully, you guys
Oh,
can hear me and see me. I don't
can
know.
hear you now.
Brilliant. I'm here. I'm here. Latte shouts James Bond in the chat. I'm here. I'm here. Don't worry. But yeah, we're very privileged to be able to go to all the games. I go sort of home and away, and it's really just good vibes at the moment. It feels like we deserve it as well. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Really active. Love that. Beauty of the Pencil says, greetings, Latte Firm. Greetings to your guest and the amazing chat members. You guys are all amazing. Slightly earlier show today, just because of various commitments. But here we are. So, Art, let's start with just the game last night. So let me bring up the slides, courtesy. My God, we're so good. Look at Mikel, eh? This is courtesy the graphic of Optra Analysts, our partners here at Latte Firm. What did you make of last night? I mean, it was just a mesmerizing performance in the end.
Yeah, it was one where I feel like hopefully I'm right in saying this, but in real time you could kind of feel them going through the gears. And for me, there's games that stick out every now and again as kind of games that the team kind of break a mental barrier. And I'm not saying that this game was one where Arsenal went into it as underdogs or anything like that, but it just felt like they really, really asserted themselves in a way that is rare in Europe, especially against a team who were the quality of Bayern. And what I would liken it to is when they first beat Liverpool a few years back in 2022, so the game where Martinelli scored after 30 seconds or something like that. And for me, that game really stands out as a moment where I think you saw the confidence of the team really develop. And I think hopefully this can have a similar kind of effect. But as the game was going on, I just thought, especially in the second half, and I think Vincent Company spoke about it after the game, the corners were really important to really kind of shift the momentum of not just what was going on the pitch, but also I think around the ground as well. You could really feel it even through the TV, I felt.
You could. And, Joshua Kimmich obviously not happy. I've seen some of the post-match comments about, set pieces, and the Arsenal aren't the best team that they've played. Aaron, the dev, says, Bayern Munich are arguably our hardest game until the Champions League knockout rounds in March. Certainly in the Champions League, but, Chelsea away this weekend, I consider it as just a fixture run, and we're trying to win across all fronts. And Chelsea, I think, is going to be a very difficult game, but more on that later. Just talking through the stats very quickly. I mean, obviously, look, 3-1 winners on the night, really good XG, limiting Bayern Munich to an XG of, look at that, 0.7. That is a team that has been averaging, almost 4 goals a game in the Bundesliga, unbeaten in 18 games. They are flying across all fronts, chance creation monsters. We talked about this in the preview show a couple of days ago. 12 shots on goal for Arsenal, 8 on target. They bossed possession by Munich, which surprised me actually a little bit. I know they were trailing and they would have had more of the ball, but it surprised me when I got home and I did the match reaction video last night.
They had a lot of the ball in the first half. A lot.
Yeah, the first half was tense. It was crazy. Sorry, carry on. Yeah. Tell us about it.
No, that I just wanted to point that out in relation to possession. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Good. By the way, can I just say AFC? Oh, Ian, great to see you, mate. Listen, do you know what? Last night was so surreal. Art walking to the ground by the Tony Adams statue. I was waiting for Gary, one of our Patreon members, who managed to nab a ticket through the Patreon chat. And there were lots of people just coming up to me saying, "Oh my God, FK Latte, and like people were so nice." Ollie, Ian, I met him on the concourse. Nigel, Nige Golf, as many of you will know on socials. People were just so friendly and so nice about Latte Firm. Really warmed my heart. And then, of course, Arsenal dropped a sensational performance, and it just makes it all so worthwhile. But Ian, lovely to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for your generous support and contribution to the channel. Scott says, good afternoon from Dallas. I'm thankful today for our depth. We did that with less than our best 11. And talking about less than our best 11 Art, we're so good and we've so much more to come. I mean, look, this was our starting lineup yesterday, and I'm not going to reel off all the people who aren't in the picture, but that Big Gabby at the back was missing. Piero Hincapié, so impressive, of course, at the weekend. Ben White came on towards the end, and obviously Ricky Calafiori came on as a sub. And moving into sort of midfield, Norgard hasn't really even featured for Arsenal yet, but neither has Ethan Wanyeri. Max Dowman's doing bits. I mean, that wonder goal for the under 18s, under 20s, whatever it was.
It'll be 19s because it's the youth league.
Under 19s. I mean, insane. And we've got wide players. Madueke coming back. Martinelli's just come back. Trossard obviously now sort of injured, but we're seeing Eza, the skipper came on, Martin Odegaard. We haven't got any strikers, Victor Gyökeres, Gabi Jesus, Kai Havertz. I mean, I said yesterday in the match reaction video to all the people that were watching, I'm not taking the piss here, but I don't even think we're out of second gear. I think as good as we have been, Art, and we're top in all these competitions, I think we're gonna cook, man. We're gonna smoke the lot when the boys are back. You're nodding. So, what are your thoughts on that?
It's because just before the international break, obviously, the draw to Sunderland happened, and our podcast, the Handbrake Off for work, we were talking about basically how you feel about the season so far, and I was actually quite, compared to the others, not pessimistic, but I was just like, yeah, the season's been all right, but I still feel like I think I use a similar kind of analogy to you in terms of it felt like they still hadn't got out of second gear. And I think there was a bit of shock that I wasn't like glowing about how the team had played so far this season. And personally, I just feel like before that international break, I was waiting for more. And I was just being honest about it. I think we've definitely seen more in these 2 games since they've returned from the international break. But as you say, there's still I'm personally waiting to see how Eze and Odegaard can coexist together in
Oh
midfield,
yeah.
because Arteta did try it against West Ham. He was just unfortunate that Odegaard was injured after half an hour, and maybe, I don't know if lucky is the right word, but lucky enough to have Zubimendi to bring on, who just really changed the game. So yeah, I think you're right. There's definitely more that this team can do, and especially when you look at other areas of the team that haven't actually clicked yet. So you look at that striker position. Of course, Gyökeres is injured at the minute, but he hadn't really hit a stride when he got injured. I think that was probably his best half of football at Burnley, but you can't really say over a spell of 3-4 games he was properly firing. So I still think you can see more from him when he's back, but also there's just other elements of this Arsenal team that I still feel like are there to be unlocked, if that makes sense. So yeah,
It,
I'm 100% with you on that.
it makes complete sense. And I guess it, just on the squad build, it was very intentional over the summer. Like we had the chance. I reckon if we really wanted to go and get Isak, we could have got Isak. Genuinely,
Mm.
honestly. And I feel that maybe Arteta, the coaching staff, Berta have just said, actually, you know what? Where we've fallen short is just squad depth. Where we've fallen short is the floor is just so much lower than the ceiling. And we just need to kind of go on. You've got a point.
Yeah, so that I have a piece going out on this stuff tomorrow, and
Elite.
there there's a there's a paragraph in there where basically say, so Arsenal, the way they've recruited in say the past four years, I'd say, has been to raise the ceiling. Every year you've seen it, but in doing that, they have actually raised the floor over time as well. So we're seeing now, I guess, marquee signings like Ben White or Alexander Zinchenko. Unfortunately for them, and I say that because you get attached to these players when they're doing well. White's now a rotation option, and Zinchenko's been phased out pretty much. You've just seen the quality of the options has just risen at an exceptional rate, really. So yeah, sorry to cut you there.
No, mate, listen, you cut away. People are here to see you, my man. No, they're not here to see my mug. I just asked the questions. But I guess what I wanted to say was, the movement that we had over the summer holidays was intentional. We wanted to
Mhm.
add, depth to the squad, and we're stacked now, right? We can all list off, maybe another starting 11 that's not even pictured in there that could do
Yeah.
decent in the league. But the point about us going up the gears, it is interesting. It depends on what side of the fence you're on. If you don't watch Arsenal week in, week out, and you are either, respectfully, a journalist that follows other clubs and sort of, touches into match of the day and sort of just reads all the stuff that's going on. If you're a non-Arsenal fan and you sort of catch the highlights every week, the narrative, understandably, is that, wow, Arsenal have flown out the blocks. They're top of the league. They're top of the Champions League. Oh, you don't win anything in November, and they're obviously going to just like fizzle out in sort of, March, May time. And I rate that. I think you have, the question is rightly, are Arsenal going to be peaking at the right time of the season?
Mm.
But those of us who watch this team week in, week out, those of us who know the details and the finer intricacies of all of the players and the injury situations and those of us that are nuanced enough to add a bit of context around, players settling in and finding new positions and Eza coming in and not having the chance to play with Odegaard, as you just articulated, we know deep down that this is not the best Arsenal. We
Yeah.
know that even though Mourinho's playing up top and we're racking up the points and scoring lots of goals, when Victor Gyökeres comes back, when Kai Havertz comes, when Gabby Jesus, who is actually, I think, are the best of those three.
Mm.
He's just crippled by injury, mate. Honestly, I don't even, I can't even, I don't think I've got the mental capacity to imagine how good we're going to be.
Yeah,
Honestly, I'm gassed.
it's funny.
We're going to win the league.
No, no, no.
Don't make me mash all this up. We're going to win the league.
Let's calm it down. Let's calm it down. But it's funny what you kind of mentioned right at the start of that, in terms of maybe other pundits or journalists kind of only checking in every now and again. Because before the game came on yesterday, I saw Joe Cole, and this is not a knock on Joe Cole at all, because I actually quite like his punditry and I loved him as a player. But he said that he sees Arsenal as the finished article at the minute. And as you explained, as someone who can really kind of see what's going on, not just week to week, but game to game, they are so far from the finished article at the minute. But I think if you were to ask me about, say, Liverpool or Manchester United, I think it'd be understandable that because I'm not watching them every week, maybe I would grasp on a generalization. So I think for Arsenal fans, when it comes to kind of consuming, I guess, media and stuff like that, my I don't know, it's not an advice or whatever, but my words would just be like, just be conscious of who's talking and how much of Arsenal they would have consumed, because they're just trying their best at the end of the day, and sometimes they just haven't been kind of engrossed in what's going on, and it can come across sometimes as, I don't know, again, lazy is the wrong word, but I'll just use it for this kind of this case study, if we want to call it that. But I think generally they've probably just not had time to digest what's
That's it.
going on.
That's it. Do you know, my call to action, and I've been saying this over the last couple of weeks, because we're getting criticised for celebrating these wins and whatnot and being top of the league and blah blah blah. I ignore the noise. Ignore the rhetoric, ignore any sort
Yeah,
of opinion from people who just don't watch us week in, week out. Stick to your, content creators, your favorite journalists, and just make your own opinion. We're all educated enough.
yeah,
We've all seen this club long enough to know how it all works and how relentless all of these competitions are. But listen, there's so much to be excited about, and there's so much more to come. Without sort of, it sort of reminiscing, or not reminiscing, without sort of getting too romantic about how successful we could be, he says, as we bring in the two. This was not the slide that I had in mind. Sorry, I created these a long, long time ago. Oh, look at us. Look at us. I mean, look, we're first in both competitions at the moment. And of course, it is only the 27th of November. But I mean, Arteta will be deep down, whilst he recognises we've not won anything, obviously, he'll be really pleased with the start of the season, surely. I mean, given the fixtures, like many people have said in the chat, given all the injury trouble that we have, and we don't have a striker and all that sort of stuff, I mean, it's beyond my wildest imagination. Is it beyond yours as a journalist and as, someone who's much better connected to the gaffer?
I wouldn't say I'm that connected to him,
Well,
if
you
I'm
see him
being
at press
honest.
conferences and all that sort of stuff, but yeah, go on.
To be fair, I say both things can be true, because going into this season, I think everybody would have expected Arsenal to be in a title race. I don't think they would have expected, say, Liverpool to fall off as they have done, Manchester City to lose 4 games already. But I definitely did feel there was a kind of a push to really go and kind of make a charge for it. So that is not why I'm surprised by. I'm pleasantly surprised by how they've dealt with all the issues that have come their way. So as you mentioned, that I think the injuries are the main one, because if I think back to just before the break, I felt it was kind of ridiculous that Arsenal were top with points to spare, having not had Erdegaard. He's suffered 3 injuries already this season, having no Kai Havertz as well, and Saliba getting injured twice, which has derailed seasons in the past. So yeah, I think those things were more what pleasantly surprised me about how all this has come to pass. I think when you look at the squad, especially after signing Eze, I was quite quietly confident in what they could do. And on the whole kind of, yeah, you can't win stuff in November talk, I do subscribe to that as well. But what I would say is what you can do in November/December is build momentum, so that I think this is kind of what happened with Liverpool last season. They built the momentum, so they just weren't able to be caught. because Arsenal were dropping points when they were dropping points, for instance. This year, Arsenal have capitalised when Liverpool and Manchester City have dropped points, like the weekend just gone. So that's also something that I feel is a little bit different this year.
Paul James says if we end December with a 10-point lead, let's say, we are going to be very difficult to catch. I mean, I can't agree with that more. I mean, Liverpool obviously last year they with Mo Salah were phenomenal up until about sort of February time, and then it was just too much of a gap for us to catch up. Phoenix, welcome to the show, says we still haven't hit all gears in terms of deployed tactics. Pretty sure Arteta wants more fluidity in the front line, seeing lots of rotations and switches. Not worried at all. Comfortable title run, he says. Oh, Viggs, Paz of the Cat. Most journos missing that only one of our last 7 goals came from a set piece, for example. And Mike just showing some love to Madueke and Martinelli. I'm going to ask you about Madueke just a second, Art. Going against any team, going forward against any team is quite deadly. And Aaron, a little bit tongue in cheek here, 7 goals conceded in 19 for Arsenal. Meanwhile, 7 in 2 for Liverpool. Nani Madueke. I mean, I just love what I see. And last night, you could see from his celebration captured there on the right-hand side what that goal must have meant for him. I don't really know what the question is here, Art, but are you happy to see Madueke in the team and doing bits?
Yeah, I think in the summer, I was very indifferent about his signing. Especially, I think the context is key with everything. The timing of it being one of the first signings of the summer, I was just a bit,
I was
didn't
nervous.
know.
Yeah, I was nervous. I was like,
I wouldn't
why?
say I was nervous, but I just didn't know how I felt about it. And that's why I used the word indifferent, because it just felt like a signing for signing's sake. But I think once you saw him on the pitch, and also I think this comes down to something that it's not really a data thing, but it's just how someone plays and what they kind of give you with that. So sometimes I'll be watching games with my mum, and over the last few years, for instance, there have been times where she's just wanted Arsenal's wingers to take a man on. She's just been waiting for someone to do that, and they haven't done it because they'll cut back and the ball will get into that kind of that boring horseshoe of death kind of rhythm, and she'd get so annoyed. So when Madueke came, and it was the Forest game, I believe, all he did was run at his man. She really gravitated towards that because he was just playing as a true winger. And I think that energy, I remember back to that Forest game, that energy really kind of helped the team. And it's not something that's really going to show up in a stat. It can in terms of take-ons and stuff like that. But by the time he's taken a corner at 0-0, the stadium's singing his name. And he's not scored, he's not got an assist, but he's had an impact in a way that is more than just kind of, oh yeah, he created a chance or blah blah blah. And I think for now that he's got the confirmation of a goal to his name, hopefully that just kind of gives him even more confidence.
For me, it's the directness of his play.
Yeah.
And I think he wants to move the ball very quickly towards the goal. You know, he's the U shape. He's not interested in cutbacks, and he's not interested in passing it back into midfield. He gets the ball, he looks forward, he wants to run at his defender. Even at Anfield, where we lost, just whether he's successful in the dribble or not, doesn't care. Just goes again and again and again. And that mentality, I love it. I think he's probably better suited on the right hand side because that's where he sort of knows. But I think in time he could be quite useful on the left. But really pleased for Noddy. So pleased for Noddy because I think he's going to be a great player for us. If I move on, I do want to talk about Declan Rice. And I this is a quote from me sort of last night in the match reaction video. I've been around a long time. I've seen lots of players come and go. I've seen every player that comes into midfield as, oh, he's the next Patrick Vieira. And it never sort of happens, you know, flatters to deceive over the years. I mean, how long has it been since Patrick Vieira played for us? 2006, right? Almost 20 years.
2005.
20 years. Yeah, that's it. So 20 years since Patrick Vieira last kicked a ball for us in that FA Cup final. I mean, I don't think there's any bigger compliment, I would say, to Declan Rice than they're slightly different players, but we've finally replaced that talisman in midfield, at the heart of midfield, that warrior like box to box endurance athlete. No one wants to get involved in a fight with. No one wants to go in a in a sort of straight sprint race with. No one wants to go in a endurance athlete competition with. Like, this guy ticks all the boxes. And what a performance last night, man of the match. And the only concern I've got is around load management, because he's
Yeah.
been playing a lot of football. But he gave a really interesting interview to CBS last night. It was a really fun interview, to be fair. And this was a quote on the right hand side: "Probably playing the best football of my career so far." And of course, he's still relatively young. "I just feel so confident every time I'm on the training pitch, every time I'm stepping on the pitch." And the line that they haven't captured, he also said he feels fitter than he's ever been before.
hmm
What do you
So
make of Declan Rice's, I guess, evolution over the last year? Because now he describes himself as not that six, because Zubi's there, the nice guy, and the Spanish number sixes. You know what they're about. He's evolved into that sort of number 8 box to box where he's thriving. But
yeah.
what do you make of it all?
Yeah, I'd start on the load management stuff, if that's all right, just because if you think back to last season, and I feel like Rice has spoken about this himself, he had a slow kind of start to the season, the first half of the year. And then it was in January where he really kicked on. Um, and there was a spell in December, so just after the Chelsea game, actually, where he had a game or two on the bench. So Crystal Palace, where he came off the bench and scored. And there might have been another couple of games in there where he didn't play. And there was another game at the start of the season where he was on the bench. Was it the Forest game? It might have been the Forest game, but I could be wrong. He started on the bench, and it was because that was Arsenal's first 3-game week. So I believe it was Forest, Bilbao, then City.
Mm-hmm.
So he's obviously needed for Bilbao and City, has that rest on the first game, and comes out the blocks in Spain, and then again against Manchester City. And I think that use of, use of the squad is helping him. It was going to help Zubimendi in the West Ham game, because that was going to be his first that was his first game that he didn't start in the Premier League, because it was Erdegaard, Eze, and Rice together. So I think that's where you see the squad is helping the more established players. But then when we talk about how well he's playing, so I was on Handbrake Off earlier today, and sorry if I'm kind of duplicating stuff here, but on there I said that second half from him kind of felt like, again, I'm not sure if the viewers would be familiar with the Spider-Man 2 game that came out a couple of years ago. But there's about halfway into that game, you become the Black Spider-Man. So you get all these new powers, and you get to unlock basically a new side to the game. And that's what that second half from him felt like yesterday. It was, truly ridiculous. And I'm sure for those who were there, it would have been even better to watch that tackle on Harry Kane. Just wow.
Do you know, I posted that GIF today, and it's probably been liked about 5,000 times. Thanks to Per Willow for the genius way that he or she captures that stuff. But he had the captain's armband on. He tackles Kane. He gets up and he's giving it big to the crowd. I mean, just that moment gave me such endorphins. It was great. And I think how I describe it is he's just coming of age. Like, we knew he was great. He stepped up. He often talks about how his game's just really sort of become so much more clued on, like playing for such a gaffer like Mikel, who, attention to detail. He's really sort of elevating himself as a performer. And so many people have said in the chat, like, this is it. He is him. He is at that level now. He can enter the chat around Vieira, Gerrard, Keane, etc., etc. Tavarui says that the Arsenal Galacticos era. We're the kings of Europe, up the Gunners, up the Arsenal. Sorry, this was a message just from Paz of the Cat just a short moment ago. Lovely message. Says, thanks to you, FK. I got to see Nonny live versus Leeds and then Forest, and was 100% sold. Declan staying fit is major. The floor beneath him is almost impossible to lift. Paz of the Cat, one of our Patreon members. Thank you, Pazza. I'm really grateful for your support of the channel, and of course, yes, I'm delighted that you get to to go to the games. He also says, "I've got Handbrake off queued as my next content."
Yeah,
So let's see what
sorry for the
happens.
duplication there.
That's all right, no worries, man. We listen. Arsenal vibes are good right now, man. We're doing shows every day, talking about the same damn thing. We'll be back tomorrow with the late night lounge. Can't wait for you. You got to enjoy these moments, Art. You know, otherwise, what's the bloody point? Let's move ahead to the question that I wanted to pose, and this is the final slide of tonight's show. The Opta Analyst Super Calculator Predictor Machine thingy, which we all hate, ranks us as the favourites for the tournament, and all of the narrative that's been coming out from some of your, esteemed sort of colleagues within the sort of industry, some of the media narrative we've seen on television. Surely this is the year. Arsenal are the best team in Europe, etc., etc. What do you make of that? Is it flash in the pan form? Are we genuinely, the best team in Europe, and can we sustain it?
So, I personally don't know if it matters. and this is more like my answer more comes from the fact that I don't care what people think. Like, I know maybe everyone would want me to have an answer and say, yeah, Arsenal are the best team in Europe, and they probably are. But at the end of the day, I don't really care about that stuff. What I care more about is how they play football and what that makes me feel like. And
You're so... Sorry, I pressed the button by mistake. Perfectly timed. You deserve the standing ovation, because I think, what's going on?
Oh my God.
Streamyard's having a mare. Okay, I think I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Right. Gong alert. Applause alert. I think you're right. And it goes back to our previous point around, it depends on what side of the fence you sit on, right? So for us, it's about, we see this team. We know this team better than anyone. We know this team better than any journalist, any media pundit, any, broadsheet writer. We can make our own conclusions based on what we see. Sorry, carry on. As everyone lost their minds in the chat. Go on.
That's kind of exactly the point. I don't think the debates around who's the best and stuff like that need to really be a thing. Like, I get why they are, because people like having opinions and people like to hear other people's opinions. But again, maybe it sounds weird coming from someone who works in the media, but I don't really pay a lot of attention to a lot of the talk around Arsenal if I don't know the person, or if I don't, know that they know, say, Arsenal, for instance. So yeah, I consume a lot less around it all, just because I don't know if it's that I've started to care less about what people think. But also, I just think, as you said earlier, it's important to make your own mind up. I think in reality, they probably are, and that's why they're the only team who have won all 5 of their Champions League games. But I don't think anyone, or say, I don't think any Arsenal fan, especially not Mikel Arteta, would need that confirmation from just some guy.
Indeed. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Phoenix says, in what does that say?
Indubitably.
Is that even a word?
Yeah, there's a good clip of, do you know Kawhi Leonard?
No, I don't. Hang on.
He's a basketball player.
Oh my gosh, I'm learning things all the time. Go on.
There's a good clip of him saying that word in a commercial.
Okay.
It's so funny.
I mean, certainly, without a doubt. I shall check it out. See you. Word of the day. We are still in gear 2 and are battering oppositions whilst limiting their chances. We are walking the league. Right, I don't know what you've had for dinner. I love it. I love it. Paz of the Cat giving you some love says, I feel like I know you are, being a Handbrake off long-time listener. To know you is to love you, my man. Listen twice, no issue. Look, I'm with you. I think let the media talk, let the narrative be there that Arsenal are the best team in Europe and blah, 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 blah. We know we have work to do. The gaffer knows we have work to do. In his post-match interview yesterday, he was asked about it. He said, you know what? We don't care. Tomorrow we focus on Chelsea. And that is how we're going to end the show up, because the alleged best team in the world take on the world club champions in the case of, excuse me, boss, on Sunday. What are your thoughts? I mean, look, there's the Premier League table just once
Mm.
again to kind of celebrate us being top. You looking forward to the game? It's going to be quite an interesting one.
Yeah, for me, I always feel like Arsenal Chelsea games are the the ones that I really enjoy most in the season.
Ooh,
I don't know
what
what.
about enjoy?
Well, I feel like maybe it's because I know quite a few Chelsea fans, and
Okay,
therefore,
okay.
like,
I look forward to
yeah,
them because they have a bit of spice, bit of needle.
yeah.
I don't think I enjoy them until the whistle goes.
Okay, that's a fair point. Um, but looking at teams where I guess they're direct rivals, I kind of look forward to playing against Chelsea more than say Tottenham, for instance. I like for the North London derby, I had no nerves before that at all.
Wow.
Like, I didn't get why people were nervous ahead of that game, and this isn't me speaking after the fact. Like, I think I did a preview piece for work, and I said, yeah, I'm quite confident that Arsenal can win comfortably. I think the score prediction I put was 2-0. So I was wrong on that sense, but I think there's more of a like an edge to these games against Chelsea. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know how to judge them, if I'm being totally honest, because at times they look really really good, like against Barcelona. Um, but then there are other games like the Sunderland game where they just seem to have these kind of moments of brain fart.
Mm.
So it seems like it just depends on what moment you catch them in. And also, one thing I would say is that kind of from almost from fourth to 12th, so I'll include Liverpool in that, that those teams have been really inconsistent this season. When you think of how Aston Villa started this season, they didn't score a goal for like
Mm.
4 or 5 matches, and now they're fourth. So yeah, I think this stage of the season, as in the festive period, is when we're really going to find out the real level of some of these teams.
I love the festive period, man. Festive Barclays. There's nothing like it, man. Look, I know it's early, and we'll do a deep dive in the late night lounge tomorrow with Yembele and Wayne. That's the Friday night show that we do on the channel every week, Art. But what are your, yeah, I guess leave us with a prediction for Sunday. Do you fancy us to go to the bridge and win?
I do. I'm just trying to think of whether a clean sheet comes with that. And I feel like it would depend on how good of a job they do on Enzo Fernandez.
Top player, top
I
player.
think people would have assumed I'd say Esteval, but he's not started like a lot of games. Like, he's come off the bench quite often. Um, hmm. I'll go for 3-1 Arsenal.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
And if Trossard isn't available, I would like to see Erdegaard back in the 10
And
and
as
Eze
a
off the
yes,
left.
that's what I'm talking about. Mate, I was thinking the same thing. Look, we'll do much more of the team lineups and all that sort of stuff tomorrow. Probably a debate we're going to get into because lots of people will shout, not in Madueke or maybe even Martinelli. But listen, those are the options that we have, and it is to Stamford Bridge that we go. We're going to leave it there. It's been captivating as always, man. I love listening to you. Lots of people love listening to you, obviously on the Handbrake off as well. I love your reading, your writing. Obviously, tomorrow you're going to launch that piece. But if anybody wants to follow Art de Roché, he's available at Art de Roché on socials. Of course, Arsenal writer at The Athletic. For those of you that have been watching tonight, if you've enjoyed the content and you're tuning in for the first time, please do subscribe to the channel. There's lots of daily content out there. The match reaction video from the night before. We're back tomorrow with the Late Night Lounge, where we'll do a deep dive into the weekend's action, look at Chelsea and look at Arsenal, and maybe even reflect on the last couple of days that we've had, because why not? And we'll do the snack check. And then on Saturday, I'm hoping to be joined by a Chelsea fan to do a match preview show where we'll look ahead to Sunday's game. And then, of course, Sunday, I'll be at the bridge, but I'll come home and we'll do a match reaction video and wrap up the weekend's action. Can't say fairer than that. If you want to support the channel and get involved in Patreon, there is, of course, a chat community there, prizes to be won. There is a shirt giveaway that is going to be announced tomorrow. Yeah, just join. Come along. It's a fun community. I think that's it. Enjoy yourselves. Have a lovely evening. Back tomorrow. Take care. Enjoy the week. It's so good to be Arsenal. Go on, Art.
I just want to say, I set up a TikTok account, so if people want to follow me on there,
Ooh.
it's just my name.
Well, there you go. Art de Roché on TikTok and Football Manager. Sorry, I forgot to ask this completely. Wayne's going to kill me. Wayne has asked Football Manager 26.
Yeah.
Good, worth it. You doing it?
So
You enjoying it?
it got a lot of backlash when it first came out,
That was the beta,
and
right? Okay, yep.
when the beta came out, and
Beta, yep.
again, this is another thing where I feel like people need to make their own minds up, because so I was at football when the beta dropped, so I couldn't play it straight away. And on my way home, I was just looking at Twitter and I saw it was getting absolutely rinsed on socials. And then I played it, and there were a few bugs and issues, but for the most part, I got on fine with it.
Okay.
And since then, they've brought out loads of different kind of fixes for the game and stuff like that. And again, I've been able to play it and enjoy it. I won the Champions League.
Who do you
Actually,
manage when you play? Do you play with Arsenal?
yeah. So I've got an Arsenal men's save and an Arsenal women's save going at the minute.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I won the Champions League and the Carabao Cup with the men. I'm in January with the women. But yeah, I think basically if Wayne wants my answer, I'd say try it out. It may take a little bit of time to get used to, because it is a little bit different to the older versions, but I'm still enjoying it. So
I
yeah.
love that. I love that. I've never, ever been able to manage Arsenal in any of those sort of football
Really?
manager games, just because it hurts too much when we lose, and I take it personally. There we are. We're gonna leave it there. Look after yourselves. Take care. Enjoy your evenings, and we will be back tomorrow with the Late Night Lounge. Art, my thanks to you, man. Have a great Friday, and enjoy the weekend that is to come. Look after yourselves. Take care. Bye for now.